And as you start to become more aware of your breath, thinking about inhaling from the belly up into the chest and exhaling from the chest back to the belly. Breathing in and out of the nose if that feels good for you today. Maybe setting your intention for your practice. Last week, we really focused on gratitude. Maybe it's rest, maybe it's relaxation. Maybe you're feeling some sort of soreness or tension. Now's the time to check in with your body, becoming aware, letting go of any expectations, letting go of any judgment, and letting go of any competition. Simply focusing on what our bodies need today. Remembering that we are in control of our practice and we have the power to choose whatever feels best for us today. On your next inhale, we'll take our hands down by our sides wherever we are, and then reaching the arms up and overhead, giving ourselves a full body, big stretch. As we exhale, bringing our knees into our chest, slowly rocking side to side if that feels good for us. And then we'll make our way up into a seated position. So if we want to, we can roll ourselves up or drop our knees over to one side using our hands to press ourselves up. Sitting up nice and tall, let's inhale, reaching our arms up and overhead. As we exhale, a right hand comes down, left arm up and over. It's a side body stretch. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, left hand down. Pressing through the sit bones and just continuing this motion here at your own pace. Moving side to side. You're welcome to sit up on a block, a book, or a pillow. Maybe providing some relief in any tension in your hips. Making this side body stretch as big as it feels good for you today. We'll take one more round on each side. Still moving with our breath here. Continuing to move with your breath. This time as we lift, we inhale, as we exhale, taking a gentle twist over the shoulder. If it feels better for our shoulders, we can come up to shoulder height or reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Once again, moving at a pace that feels good for our bodies today. Thinking about lengthening the spine as we inhale. Feeling the nice gentle twist as we exhale. Taking one more twist on each side. Slowly coming back to center. Let's inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, hands come behind us. We lift and roll the shoulders back, finding a nice big chest expansion. I like to make fists, but you're welcome to press your palm down to the mat. Inhaling, the arms reach back overhead, and exhaling, finding a seated forward fold. So just coming forward as much as it feels good for us, and repeating that same pattern. So we inhale, arms to the sky. As we exhale, we lift and open our chest. Inhaling, lifting the arms, and exhaling, seated forward fold. So we're warming up our spine here. One more time at your own pace with your breath. Finding your exhale with the hands to the front of your mat, in front of your legs, we'll slowly shift ourselves forward. We can sit up and remove our block, finding our all fours, hands and knees. So our hands come under our shoulders, knees under the hips, a little bit of space here between the hands and between our knees, finding our cat and cow as we inhale, starting from the hips lift, belly drops, chest lifts, then the head. Exhaling, starting with the head, reversing that direction, chin to chest, rounding through the spine, pulling the sit bones into the body, into our cat. We inhale to our cow and exhale to our cat, just moving at our own pace here with our personal breath. Feeling free to add in anything that we want here that might feel good for us and our cat and cow. Maybe that's holding the cat or the cow longer, or maybe that's moving the hips side to side, maybe releasing through your wrists. Remembering that when we come into this position on our wrists, we want to press through that soft part under the thumb. That's going to help take out some wrist pain or tension. And we can always find fist for wrist if that feels better for us as well. Taking 2 more rounds of your cat and cow flow. And then when we're ready, we'll come back to our all fours. From here, as we inhale, we reach the right hand out in front of us, thumb to the sky, pressing into the left hand, soft elbow. Exhaling, release. Eye gaze is still to the floor, inhaling, left arm out in front of us. Exhale, release. This time, as we inhale, the right arm extends, the left leg extends, flexing through our foot, pushing the heel of the foot to the back of the room. And exhale, switching sides. So moving into our bird dog. Inhaling and exhaling to release. Alternating our sides here and feeling free to add on if we want, maybe that small lateral movement. Just heating up our core muscles here, the muscles that connect our shoulders to our hips. Checking in with our body in every pose. We'll take 1 more round on each side. And then when you're ready, coming back to your all fours, hands and knees. Taking our right foot behind those toes to the mat, we press the heel towards the back of the mat, finding a nice little calf stretch. Switching our sides. Left foot presses to the back of the mat. And exhale, we switch. 1 more time each side. Inhaling, taking the foot back, and exhaling, knee back to the mat. Warming up our calves before we get into any of our down dogs. And releasing and coming back to our all fours. From this position, we inhale, press our right heel of the foot up to the sky, finding that three points of contact, flexing through the foot. And from here, we take the right leg across the left leg, finding a little release in our inner thigh. And then if we want to, we can take a circle to the right. So we're just warming up our internal and external rotators. So the right knee can come across. We can also lengthen that foot, bending or straightening the knee, and then rolling the hip to the outside, maybe 1 time on each side, switching to our left. So pressing our heel up to the sky, feeling our glutes, taking the leg across, and then slowly making a circle as we start to feel the heat in our external rotators. Trying to keep our spine nice and strong here and straight. We'll take 1 more time on each side. Warming up our hips. Inhaling to press the heel of the foot up and then exhaling to release. When you're ready, we'll meet back in our all fours. Taking our knees to the long edges of the mat, tops of the feet down, finding child's pose. Whichever version of child's pose feels best for us today. You can rest your head on the block, the mat. You can extend your arms out in front of you or behind you. Finding your breath here in your child's pose. Remembering this is a rest pose. It's also an inversion as we drop the head below the heart, unless we're using the block here. So being mindful of that. It's also a hip opener. So noticing and checking in with how our hips are feeling in our child's pose today. Finding our breath here, remembering that we can come into this pose or any other rest pose at any time in our practice. On our next inhale, let's slowly walk the hands forward, finding that extended child's pose. The head can stay on the block or it can be lowered. And then as we exhale, walking the hands over to the right side of our mat, reaching a little further with the left hand. So warming up our shoulders. Inhaling, we come back to center. And exhaling, hands swap to the left, reaching a little further with the right hand. At your own pace, taking that one more time. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, hands to the right. Inhaling back to center and exhaling, hands to the left. As you inhale, coming back to center, we'll shift forward, finding our plank position, hands under shoulders, knees in line with our hips here, but behind our knees a little bit as we shift the body forward, bracing our core. Exhaling, optional little yoga push-up. Inhale, pressing back to our plank. Exhaling, child's pose. Now we can always find an active child's pose with our feet flexed here if we want to. Inhaling, option 2. Exhaling, chaturanga, elbows right by the sides here. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhaling, we press back up to our plank. Exhaling, child's pose. Option 3, inhaling, shifting forward. Exhaling, chaturanga, elbows in. Inhale, we can lift up to baby cobra, shoulders back. Hands lift using our total back strength. Exhale, child's pose. So taking whichever options here feel good for you. Remembering that chaturanga is always optional. We can even shift forward to plank and back to child's pose. There's so many benefits to that as well. Y'all look awesome. If it feels good for you, you're welcome to move into downward facing dog at this time, maybe lifting your hips up to the sky or coming up into full plank. As you exhale, pressing back to that down dog, maybe inhaling forward plank, knees or toes. Exhaling, optional chaturanga. And then if it feels good, you can come up to full cobra or the knees lift for our up dog. Taking one more round of your half series flow, and then we'll meet back in either child's pose or down dog. From your down dog or child's pose, all we're going to do is look forward towards our hands. Step forward, right foot, left foot. We can walk or lunge to the top of our mat, finding a forward fold. This is a great place for the blocks. Softening our knees here. Bringing our chest towards our thighs, forehead towards our knees. And then if we want to, we can find ragdoll, maybe grabbing alternating elbows, swaying side to side. Releasing our hands to the block, the mat, the shins. As we inhale, we lift up to find flat back, lengthening through the spine, shoulders back and down. Exhale, softening, forward fold. One more time, inhaling to our flat back. Exhaling, forward fold. This time, inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms lift to the sky if it feels good. And exhaling, chair pose, hands to heart center. We sit the weight back into the heels, knees in line with toes. Let's flow through our chair here if we want to. As we exhale, we can reach our arms out in front of us. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to chair. Option if we want to take a little back bend as we inhale to our extended mountain. Moving through our full sun salutations, let's inhale to lift, exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Hands to the shins, the block, the floor. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees, toes. Inhale, shifting the body forward. Exhale, optional chaturanga or little yoga push-up. Inhale back to plank, or we can come up to our up dog or cobra. Exhale, child's pose or down dog. Stepping, lunging, walking the feet to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften. Stepping back to find your plank, whatever version feels best. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, optional chaturanga or yoga push-up. Inhale, come to up dog, plank, or back to or cobra. Exhale, down dog, child's pose. Inhaling, stepping, lunging, walking towards the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Moving through your sun salutations one more time on each side, or two more times if you're not tracking which leg you're stepping back with. No worries there. Feeling free to take any options that feel best for you, removing anything that doesn't serve you today. Remembering that chaturanga and down dog are always options. Building heat in our bodies, getting ready for our standing strength work to come. We'll meet back in down dog or child's pose. So once you finish your 2 rounds of sun salutations, making your way back into that place. Maybe walking your dog or gathering your breath in child's pose. If we're in child's pose, we're just going to take our eye gaze to the top of the mat, maybe shift our body forward. If we're in down dog, looking towards our hands and stepping our left foot to meet our hands. Finding that nice low lunge, knee in line with toes. From here, we walk our hands to the long side of the mat. So we're in that wide leg straddle position. If we want to here, we can take some knee bends, right and left. Finding that skandasana, if we want to, we just sink down and lift the opposite toes. From this position, coming back to our center, walking our heels in a little bit, toes out. Hands can come to the thighs, the hips sink down, so we're in that low squat position. Inhale, we reach our arms up to the sky, finding our 5-pointed star. Exhale, swan dive, moonflower, releasing through our hips. We inhale to lift, exhale to release. Just finding whatever pace feels good for us here, maybe closing our eyes. Pressing through our pinky toes, making sure that our knees are in line with our toes. 2 more rounds here with our breath. And then finding that 5-pointed star when you're ready, reaching your arms up to the sky, making your body as big and strong as you can. From here, we take a step back with our right foot, making that angle towards the front of our mat, rotating our left foot towards the front, finding warrior two. So we're just making our way into warrior two. The left knee is bent, the right leg is long. And then if you want to, you can get your legs first, make sure your hips are happy and open to the long side of the mat. And then you're welcome to place your hands in any position that feels good for you today. So you can lengthen the arms, but it's not mandatory, only if you want to. Thinking about pressing into your feet here, squeezing your glutes to align your hips. Beautiful. We'll flip the left palm to the sky, outstretch the hand if it's not there. Reach back behind us, finding reverse warrior. The right hand can rest on the back thigh or wrap around the low back, wherever it feels best. Taking a big inhale here. As we exhale, cartwheeling the left hand to the left thigh, right arm lifts to find extended side angle. Option here, if it feels good, you can take some arm circles, maybe reversing it to wherever it feels best. Finding a place of stillness when you're ready. All we're going to do is potentially, if you want to, grab your block with your left hand, maybe placing the left hand on the block on the inside of our left foot. From here, slowly, we'll press into the left foot, lifting our right heel, pressing our weight there, and making our way into our balancing half moon. So our hips are still open to the side mat. We externally rotate through the right hip, so lifting it up to the sky, finding the squeeze in the right leg. Finding your breath here. Right leg is long, left leg is long. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, dropping that right foot back to the floor, coming back to our warrior two. So legs are still open to the long side of the mat. Excellent, y'all. When you're ready, we'll cartwheel the hands left and then right, rotating our hips back to the center of our mat. Option to keep the right knee lifted if we want to, or lowered, it's up to you. Right hand comes to the inside of the foot, left hand rotates towards our left thigh. And if we want to, we can reach the left arm up to the sky. We can also find a block or a book here to give us a little bit more support, bringing the ground up to meet us. Maybe we want to keep the right knee lifted. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, releasing the left hand back to the mat. Knees or toes, we just step the left foot back, finding down dog or child's pose, either option. Maybe walking your dog or gathering your breath here. Taking your eye gaze back to the top of your mat, we're stepping the right foot forward this time from down dog or child's pose, finding that low lunge, then rotating the hips to the other long side of the mat. Going through any motions here that feel good for us. So the inner thigh stretch, we can also find a nice hamstring stretch, maybe toes in, heels out, walking our hands through the legs. We can also find our wide leg down dog if we want to, walking our hands forward, pressing our hips back. Any of those options here, finding what feels best for you, gathering your breath. And then when we're ready, meeting back in our straddle, so hands to our center, heels in, toes out. Inhale, we lift to find our 5-pointed star, facing the other way. As we exhale, elbows pull back, we sink down to find moonflower. Excellent, you got it. Everybody's following Sachi and Ashley now. Y'all look awesome. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to sink down into your moonflower. Finding your strength and feeling that nice grounding sensation as we sink. Feeling lifted and light as we inhale and strong and grounded as we exhale. We'll take 2 more rounds with our breath. Meeting back in our 5-pointed star when we're ready. Right foot turns towards the front, rotating through our hips. Left foot rotates towards the side of the mat, and then we can sink down to find our warrior 2. Remember, we can release the hands, check to make sure our hips and knees are happy. We just want to make sure that both of our knees are in line with our toes, making sure this knee on the right is pushing towards the pinky toes, pressing into our feet, and then coming into any arm position that feels good for us, relaxing the shoulders down and back. When we're ready, we'll extend at least the right arm, flipping the right palm to the sky, keeping the legs where they are, reaching back to find reverse warrior. Eye gaze can be up to the right hand, to the side, or down to the left. Remembering our arm can be wrapped around us as well. Taking one more big inhale here. As we exhale, right forearm to right thigh, finding extended side angle. Maybe taking those arm circles here. Remembering that in our extended side angle, we still want to stay strong in our upper body. So our right forearm gently rests on our right thigh. We should be able to lift it with ease versus the whole leg taking all of our weight. So we're pressing out of the right foot strong here. When we find that place of stillness, we might want to grab our block, placing it towards the front of our right foot, bending our right knee. Slowly, if we want to, we can also release the left hand to start here, focusing on the legs first. Shifting into the right leg, we pick up the left heel. Maybe the block goes towards the front of the right foot, opening up into our Ardha Chandrasana on the other side. It helps to lift the left leg and squeeze the glute, turning the toes of the left foot towards the baseball field. So can you flex your foot? Yeah, turn your toes out, feeling the side glutes. Taking one more round of breath here. As we exhale, taking a long step back and finding our warrior 2 once again. So the left foot lands, the right knee is still bent. The left leg is still long, our knees are still happy. Inhaling, exhaling, right hand cartwheels to the floor, and then the left, rotating the hips to the mat. The knee can stay lifted here or lowered. Right knee's in line with the toes. Left hand maybe to the inside of the foot on the block or on the floor. And then we exhale to rotate over the right leg. Option to reach that arm up to the sky. An option to lift the left knee if that feels good for you. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, releasing. Stepping back to find down dog, or we can find child's pose. Taking a few minutes to gather our breath here. When we're ready, taking our eye gaze towards the top of the mat. We'll shift forward either into our all fours or down dog. Inhale, lift our right leg to the sky, finding that 3-legged dog. Exhale, eyes to the hands, step forward to find your low lunge. One more time on this side. From here, walking the foot to the outside of the mat, bringing the right hand in to find lizard pose. Option here to find your block on your hands, or you can come down onto your forearms if that feels accessible and good for you today. Maybe the foot rolls to the outside. Taking your eye gaze down and finding your breath here in this deep hip opener. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. On your next exhale, pressing yourself back up to your hands if you're not already there. Walking your right foot back in line with your hips, right hand outside. And then all we'll do is shift back to find that hamstring stretch, maybe curling our toes in. We can stay here or we can shift between the two. So maybe inhaling to our lunge, exhaling to our hamstring stretch. Hands can be on the block, on the hips, or on the floor in front of us. It's up to you. Holding for 2 more rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, shifting back to your lunge, taking our right leg, we can lift the left knee, step back to find down dog, or we can come back to find child's pose, either option. Just resetting our hips here and moving to our other side. This time as we inhale, we'll lift our left leg to the sky. Exhale, pull the knee forward and through, eye gaze to the top of the mat, finding our low lunge on this side. If we want, walking the left foot out to the edge, bringing the left hand in and finding our lunge on the other side. Hands can rest on the block or forearms can come down. Just making sure the knees stays in line with the toes. Relaxing through the muscles in the jaw and the face. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. On your next exhale, pressing yourself up to your hands. We'll walk the left leg back in line with our hips, left hand out as we shift back to release the tension and the blood that we just occluded in our hip. And an option to shift forward and back if you're wanting that movement, inhaling and exhaling, or just embracing in the stillness of the pose. Holding for 2 rounds of breath. When you're ready, we'll slowly just shift forward, keeping our right knee down, stepping our left knee back to find our child's pose. If you're wanting one last down dog, you're welcome to take that here, meeting in child's pose when you're ready. Gathering your breath here. When you're ready, slowly lifting your gaze, your chest, and we'll just shift over to our backs. Extending our left leg out in front of us and drawing our right knee in as we slowly lower ourselves down onto our mats, using the leg as a brake. Keeping this leg in, grabbing on our hamstring, we can roll out our ankle, release our hip. And then as we exhale, we'll switch legs. Taking the left leg in this time. Bringing the right knee in to meet the left. Rocking side to side if that feels good, massaging our low back. We'll take one last pose, extending our arms out to the sides in that T position. Inhaling here, and then as we exhale, we slowly lower our knees over to the right side, keeping our shoulders on the mat. Option to find our block, and we can gently lower our knees onto our block as well if that feels good. Maybe eye gaze is in the opposite direction. Or maybe we want to gently rock side to side, massaging the back of our head. Slowing down our breathing, maybe closing our eyes, shifting our focus inward again. On our next inhale, we'll slowly bring our knees back to center. And then lowering them over to our left side. Finding that nice twist on the other side. Once again, maybe taking our eye gaze to the right. Relaxing through our shoulders. On your next inhale, let's slowly bring our knees back to center. Taking one last rock side to side and taking any last and final poses here. When we're ready, we're welcome to find whatever position feels best for us for final relaxation. So maybe our feet are on the mat with our knees in, feet together, knees open, legs extended, hands by the side. You can lay on your belly, on your side. You can sit up, whatever feels best for you. Finding that place of comfort and peace once again. Maybe closing your eyes, shifting your focus inward. Know that my eyes will stay open and you are safe. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, just bringing some awareness back into your space. Whenever you're ready, you're welcome to bring your knees into your chest, rolling over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow if that feels good for you. And when you're ready, you can make your way back to a comfortable seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll take a collective breath together one more time. Inhaling, reaching our arms up to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart center. We finish with our hands together in this mudra. It's called Anjali Mudra. And we end our practice together saying something that simply means I honor, see, and observe the light in each and every one of you. It is also within me. Namaste. Thank y'all so much for practicing with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next.